I have never planned this, but this is my first video shot in Malta. That's insane. Hi people, it's Victor Moose, and today I'm gonna share with you how I got to Malta. You can grab some snacks and a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you like, because it's gonna be a long and intense story time. I don't know how many of you guys are Christian, but since I am and that's my lifestyle, it's logical that in this video you'll hear a lot about Jesus. And if that somehow bothers you, I'm not sorry at all. I'm kidding. About 3 years ago, God told me that soon He's gonna send some people in my life and that together we'll do some great ministries for His kingdom. There were like random people coming to me and telling me about that, and I was like, oh, okay. That soon took a while, but still God remained faithful. About 2 years ago, I was praying with a friend of mine, Andrea Barnea. God showed us the map of Europe and the letter M, and it didn't make any sense for us at that time, but still we kept that thing in our hearts. I guess she kept it more than I did. And I actually think that she believes the things that God tells me more than I do. But I've learned my lesson. Meanwhile, God was moving in my life, and slowly but surely He started to fulfill all the promises He made me. He told me He's gonna make me a living testimony, and that which He started in me is not gonna limit to my country. And I kind of saw glimpses of that happening, but I was sure it is more than that, far more than that. It's been a long time of waiting in the secret place, in my intimacy with my Lord, while other people were telling me that I gotta do something with my life. And yes, I have to admit that there were several times when I would have just given up everything, but still there was a tiny voice in my heart telling me that it is worth it. That's also had been the way I've learned not to care about what other people say about me or how they perceive me. The quarantine came, the majority around me was terrified and upset. Instead, I felt that God was preparing something amazing. It was just the beginning of a completely new season, and it kept getting more and more intense. But it still was a mystery to me. A lot of young men and women started to text me from all over the planet and ask for counseling and encouragement. And sometimes they even would only message me to say thank you for your testimony. I felt so unworthy, and that humbled myself even more. Then I met Matthew, Greg in August, and Mike Davidson, and many more. I started to get involved in ministries like X Out Loud. I started to get involved in ministries like X Out Loud, Courageous Trust, ministries that help people who choose to live the homosexual lifestyle. It felt so good to know that I'm a part of something that really matters. Something I can completely relate to and contribute with my experience, and again, completely unworthy of all of this, and again, that humbled myself even more. Meanwhile, God intensified in my heart the desire for something new and completely fresh. So the last year ended up with me being very confused of what was next to come and of what I should do. I think that I've never been so confused in my life as I've been in this last December. In all of this, it was only one aspect I was sure about. I wanted to fulfill God's will, but still it was very, very hard because I didn't know which was it. So being in Belgium at that time, I was planning to go back to Romania at home to a Christian conference. The reason was a very good reason, I may say, when a very strong thought arose into my heart just telling me that I shouldn't go. So I prayed, and in the end I decided to obey that thought, and I felt completely peaceful about it. I don't know, it just felt that I was doing the right thing. The next day I found a very, very extremely cheap ticket flight to Malta. Matthew told me that there would be a place for me to stay, and again I felt completely peaceful about it. I chose not to worry at all about the trip, about the COVID issues, about everything, and just to leave everything in God's hands. So 2 weeks later, I ended up in Malta. It was the most random thing I've ever done so far. And even before coming here, I felt that it's gonna be more than just an usual trip. Still, I wasn't sure what exactly. Being here and even on the way to here, I felt that God was involved in every single aspect of everything, even in the most absurd things. And I kinda know that this is a place where I can grow more and develop myself more. Still, it was a very radical change just to think I might stay here. So I just decided to pray about it in the secret place. Very soon, God gave me the number 8, which prophetically means a new beginning. After that, while a spontaneous worship evening, he showed me again the map of the world for this time and said, all the earth is mine, so whatever I send you, I will provide. You can tell me it's crazy, but I'm completely okay with that. Another day, I received that part of the verse of Jeremiah 14:8, which says, why should you be like a stranger in the land and like a traveler who turns aside to tarry for a night? And I was like, I didn't even know this verse exists in the Bible. The culminant part of the story is me being at the airport, wanting to leave for Romania, and them not letting me go because of some pandemic issues.
You think he's gonna make it?
Maybe.
Yeah, he didn't really have, I don't know, many options, but
Yeah.
we prayed and we'll see what happens now, you know?
The Lord will lead him.
That's it.
If he is supposed to stay, the Lord will
That's it.
make a way for him.
Amen.
I just stayed there until my plane was literally taking the fly. So that was on Friday. Later you'll understand why the days are so important in this story. The very same morning, before trying to leave the country, I had a dream that left me with a very strange feeling that I was not going to be able to fly in that day, which actually happened. It's been hilarious and stressful at the same time. I came back to the friend's house I was staying at, prayed again, God whispered again. Still my faith was so small, I guess. So the next day I was searching for flights and rents at the same time. I kinda knew that I wasn't going to leave anywhere, but I guess I was just afraid to make that big decision. This is a break. All of that until the moment when I had a conversation with the friends I was staying at, Louis and Stevie. They encouraged me to do what I was thinking it was right and what I felt that God is telling me to do. So I just decided I would stay, and I felt completely comfortable with that thought. So that was on Saturday. And there is something else I have to mention. That day I felt so strong that I should be fasting. I just woke up with that idea, with that thought in my head. So I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna do that. Moving on, as I said, God was involved in everything. But this one I wasn't expecting for. I was ready to spend a lot of money for renting an apartment only for myself just because I didn't know too many people, especially somebody who was like preparing or thinking to move out very, 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 very extremely soon. But in the same evening when I was at church, I was talking to a friend that I've met here, and he actually told me that he was thinking about making this move and that he might do it. So that's how Daishan became my flatmate. So that was on Saturday too. As the night had come, I wanted to eat, but again I sensed, I felt, I heard thought into my heart telling me to continue the fast, and I was like, okay. So in that very moment, all my food appetite or the desire to eat completely disappeared. The next day, I was really preparing to eat when again I felt that voice in my heart telling me not to. I was fasting for the second day and I had to do it for 3 days in a row. But God, why though? I was like, why though? I want to eat. It's been like almost 2 days. You know, I'm hungry. And then it struck me. 2 years ago, I had to leave my old apartment, and just because I didn't have anywhere else to go, I went to some friends and stayed there like for several days to manage the situation. It was a Friday evening. I kind of lived the same Friday evening here when I got back from the airport. Back to 2 years ago, it was a Saturday when I didn't know what to do, and suddenly the thought about fasting came into my mind. The same had happened now, also on Saturday. Back to then, on Sunday, I wanted to end the fast until Jesus told me to just go on for that day and one more. The exact same thing happened now on Sunday, 2021. So I obeyed that thought, or I should say, I obeyed God's voice. Who thinks making a video is easy? It's not. The next day, on Monday, I found the apartment. And back to 2 years ago, on a similar Monday, I found the apartment that was going to be a blessing for the season that was to come. Tell me if all of that is a coincidence, because it seems to me that it's impossible to be a coincidence. So 2 days after, we found an amazing apartment. And 3 days after, I started to actually work with Courageous Trust, the ministry that I mentioned before in this video. Is there anything I can boast with? No, because there isn't anything I could have done with my power or with my knowledge or my will. Everything was beautifully prepared and made by God, and I'm not worthy of any of this. I don't know what's coming next, but there is one thing I'm sure about. God is perfectly faithful. This is one of the greatest lessons I've learned so far in my whole life. The reason I'm making this video is not to show you how blessed I am or how well the things go in my life, because it hadn't been always like that. But I did that for encouraging you and motivating you to rely on God alone, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what other people say about you, and no matter how crazy or stupid it may be, it may seem, it may sound, it may appear to other people. God is able, so seek to draw closer to Him, because there isn't anything more beautiful just to see coming alive the things that He already has told you before. Be blessed, guys, and I guess I'll see you soon. Peace. I did it!